What's up, my friends? Welcome to New View Tech Review. My name is David Gelly. I got a haircut and some new equipment, and today we're going to answer that age-old question: what should your next phone be? Okay, so maybe that's not actually an age-old question, but it is a question that some people need an answer to. And with an ever-growing smartphone market, it can become a little overwhelming when it comes to choosing your next device. Do you get an Android? Do you get an iPhone? Which one best suits your needs? And so on and so forth. You may have a lot of questions, or you may not. But I'm here to help those of you who are unsure of what your next purchase should be. So here are my top smartphone picks from 2017. Let's get started. First off, you'll need to know if you want to go with Android or Apple. These two options make up the crossroads, and it's right here that all of your choices will branch off from. If you're looking for a phone that you can endlessly customize to your heart's desire, then I strongly recommend getting an Android. But if you're looking for a buttery smooth UI experience that's pretty straightforward, then Apple is definitely your choice. Okay, so once you've made the decision of what operating system best suits your needs, you can then branch out to different manufacturer options and features. If you're looking for something with the best display possible, I have a few options for you. For Android, I would definitely consider getting the Galaxy Note 8. I recently reviewed this device, link in the description down below, and I've got to say that the Galaxy Note 8 might very well have the best display on the market. It has a 6.3-inch Quad HD Super AMOLED Infinity display with a pixel density of 521. If you don't understand specifications such as these, let me translate that for you. That's really good. Now, if you're on the iPhone Forever train, I would obviously recommend the iPhone X, my current daily driver. Link to that review in the description down below. The X has Apple's first OLED display on any iPhone, coming in at 5.8 inches, which is bigger than the iPhone 8 Plus display but has a smaller body. Apple calls this their Super Retina display and has a pixel density of 458. Both the Note 8 and the X have massive displays that are bright, vivid, and crisp. Either choice would be great in my opinion. Now, if you're looking for a phone with the best performance, then these are my next recommendations. If you chose the ever so popular iPhone path, then honestly, any of the new iPhones will suffice. Apple is well known for their insane benchmark scores, and it makes sense as they design every aspect of their devices, from software to hardware. The iPhone 8, 8 Plus, and X all use the same A11 Bionic CPU, and any of those models will give you blazing fast speeds with little to no stuttering. The only difference in models being 3GB of RAM on the 8 Plus and X versus 2GB on the 8. As for an Android phone that will give you the closest speedy experience to using an iPhone, I recommend getting the Google Pixel 2, regular or XL. Both models use Qualcomm's 835 CPU paired with 4GB of RAM. Google, much like Apple, has their hands in the creation of both the hardware and the software to give you the smoothest and cleanest stock Android experience possible. If performance and displays aren't really your thing, then maybe look to the camera, one of the most used features on any device. In this category, I recommend either of the Pixel 2 devices for Android users. Both models have the same rear-facing cameras, coming in at 12 megapixels with an f1.8 aperture, and can record video in 4K at 30 frames per second, 1080p at 30, 60, and 120 frames per second, or 720p at 240 frames per second for slow motion, both models using OIS. The front-facing camera comes in at 8 megapixels with an f2.4 aperture and can record video in 1080p. Both cameras use the software to give you that nice blurry background bokeh effect, and boy oh boy does it look incredible for not using dual cameras. In many ways, it looks better than a lot of phones that try to create that bokeh effect using two cameras. Now, regarding iPhones, I recommend getting the iPhone X. The back of the X sports two 12-megapixel cameras with OIS, one with an f1.8 aperture and the other with an f2.4 aperture. These cameras can record 4K at 24, 30, and 60 frames per second, as well as 1080p at 30, 60, 120, and 240 frames per second. The front-facing TrueDepth camera comes in at 7 megapixels and can record 1080p video. Now, Apple does their best to also give you that much desired bokeh effect using their rear dual cameras, but somehow ends up looking more digitally composed than that of the Pixel 2 photos. In the end, both of the Pixel 2 models as well as the iPhone X will give you beautiful photos, and either choice won't leave you disappointed. Now, if you're not at all concerned with technical specifications and you're just looking for a phone with the best design to show off to all of your friends, then here are my recommendations. And let me be clear, these are all up for debate as everyone has a unique taste. Starting with Android, I would recommend checking out the Galaxy S8 or S8 Plus. The curved edges along the side of the full-screen Infinity display, paired with the glass body, gives the S8 models a futuristic yet classy look. Though I will say, with the launch of the Galaxy S9 being right around the corner, you might consider waiting to see what options present themselves coming up here in the next few months. Moving over to Apple, I will quite obviously once again recommend the iPhone X. The X sports Apple's first full-screen display, and even with that notch being at the top, I still find it to look amazing. They even went back to an all-glass body to include wireless charging, which gives this model a nice silky smooth look. Once again, this category comes down to personal preference, but these are just my personal top picks from both sides of the aisle. If battery life is on the top of your must-haves list, then let me point you in the right direction. If you're looking at the iPhone models, I will say that either the iPhone 8 Plus or the X would be your best bet to get you through a full day without using a charger. iPhones have amazing standby time, so with light to moderate usage, you can really stretch out that battery life. The 8 Plus has a 2,691 mAh battery, and the X a 2,716 mAh battery. Moving over to Android, our top contenders will be the Note 8 with a 3,300 mAh battery and the Pixel 2 XL with a massive 3,520 mAh battery. Any of these devices will give you powerhouse performance as well as exceptional battery life. Next is my personal favorite, audio. Sound quality is easily one of the most overlooked features on a phone, but in my opinion, one of the most important. It defines your experience while watching videos, playing games, and listening to music. This is an area that Apple has been addressing more and more each year, giving their stereo speakers a 25% boost in volume along with deeper bass levels. All of the new iPhones sound full and clean for coming from a smartphone. If you're looking for something in the Android department, I can easily recommend either of the Pixel 2 models. Both sport loud front-facing stereo speakers. They do tend to sound a little flat or tinny and lack some bass output, but once again, for being phone speakers, you can't get too much better than these. If your wallet is feeling a little too light after the holidays and you're looking for a cheaper device with flagship qualities, then look no further than the OnePlus 5T, an Android device that's priced very reasonably at $499. We're talking great display, great camera, great performance, great battery, at a fantastic price. For being hundreds of dollars less than most other current flagships, you can't go wrong here. Unfortunately for iPhone users, you're out of luck in this department, unless you decide to buy one of their older models. This brings us to our last category. Best overall, across the board, hits the most categories, well-rounded phone that I recommend buying. This honor goes to the Galaxy Note 8. If you're wanting a classy design, great performance, battery life that gets you through the day, a fantastic camera, and the best display on the market, then this is your phone. It's definitely a pricey phone at around $900, and the audio is far from perfect, but aside from those two things, it still manages to hit 5 of the 7 categories that we covered, and I'd say that's pretty impressive. That's all I had for you today, my friends. I hope you enjoyed my smartphone recommendations from 2017. Let me know your top picks in the comments down below. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.